Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide here, and we're going to continue our NFL talk, talking NFL MVP. Season's over. Playoffs don't matter. Get your NFL MVP vote in. All right, we'll just start right off the top. Who you got?
I mean, to me, it's Tom Brady's the MVP, but other people to consider: Matt Ryan, been very good for the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers, of course. Carr for the Raiders before he got injured.
Right.
A lot of people talk about the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott, running back, Dak Prescott. Those two have really led their team. But, it's probably going to come down to a quarterback between Brady, Ryan, and Rodgers.
Yep.
Probably those three.
Yeah, and I think you could probably give it to, I would take Aaron Rodgers off. He did come back. They won six in a row, but he did have kind of a down year for the first half of the year. A lot of people don't remember. He was pretty terrible. They lost back-to-back games, and he didn't play very well. I think they played the Colts one game and the Falcons another game, and they lost both. Then the problem with Brady is he didn't play for 4 games. So does that show that he wasn't that valuable? Because, well, hey, they went 3-1 without him, so how valuable can he be? But, of course, he had the touchdown, touchdown to interception ratio, set the record.
Right. Yeah, 28-2. The best touchdown to interception ratio.
It's hard to argue with that.
Of the game. And he still threw for over 3,500 yards. I mean, most quarterbacks, if they played the full season, if they had those numbers, that would be huge for them. But for Tom, it's just like, that's okay.
Right, so that's basically he played 12 games, 3,500 yards, so it's almost 300 yards a game.
Right.
And he sat out a couple quarters just because they were ahead by so many. So, but then you go to Matt Ryan on the Falcons side, the number 2 seed, clearly the second best team in the NFC, and he's got some weapons as well, but he seemed to have put it together this year. I think we'll get to that next week, but I think the Falcons, nobody's talking about them as much. Talking about Cowboys and Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, rightfully so. Talking Aaron Rodgers. They're talking the Seahawks because they're always good. But I think the Falcons are under the radar, and I like Matt Ryan for the MVP. But it's probably between Brady and Ryan.
Yeah, and people talked about Matthew Stafford a little bit too before they had lost these last 3 games, but because he led their team to multiple wins, as we talked about in the segment before. But a lot of people with Tom Brady, he only lost 1 game to the Seahawks when they played a perfect game against the Pats. But with Tom Brady, he doesn't, when he's playing to the best of his ability, a lot of people don't give him as much credit because his team is always so good. He's the best head coach, a great running back in LeGarrette Blount, pretty good defense. So, a lot of people don't give Tom the credit I think he deserves.
And the other problem is the fact that they've been doing it for so long, and they're so good that we almost, and even us as fans, become numb about this, and we take it for granted to be able to win 14 games. You see the Cleveland Browns, obviously they're way off, and they win 1 game a year. Even good teams in their division, the Dolphins and the Bills have been decent. It's hard to win. You see all these coaches getting fired. So, because I heard someone say, Tom Brady could be MVP, and if you look at his numbers, they're great. Belichick could be Coach of the Year, but he won't get Coach of the Year because he's so good, and it's almost like we don't realize how hard it is to be that good.
Right, and it's really not a surprise to anyone. A lot of players and coaches, when they have success all of a sudden, and like MVP type success or Coach of the Year success, a lot of people want to point to them.
Right.
But really, it's who was the best coach, who was the best player. And almost year after year, it's always Tom and Bill.
Right.
Really. I mean, every single
year. They have the most, wins for a coach and quarterback combo. But that's the thing. When it comes out of nowhere, it seems much more impressive.
Right.
And not to take anything away from Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott, great. But they can win the Rookie of the Year and give Brady and Belichick the Coach of the Year and an MVP.
Right. It's not really about who's the exciting pick. It's really who did the best that season.
Right.
And
so who do you think does win it? You would pick Brady, but do you think he comes out on top, or do you think he loses some votes because he didn't play 4 games?
I think he's probably not going to get it just because of those 4 games. And, of course, Deflategate will hurt him.
Oh, yeah,
it's in a lot of people's minds for sure. It's always going to be there. So I think Tom should get it, but I think Matt Ryan probably has the best shot at this point.
I think it's between one of those two. Either one deserves it because Matt Ryan is as good, and you're right, it will hurt him, the Brady thing. So we're going to take another break. Our final break. We'll come back. We've got a football-heavy show, as you've noticed, and we've got some college football to talk about, and then our Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.